Good morning. The seasons have changed, and not only does it mean that the air is just so crispy right now, like I have all the doors, let me just show you, I have all the doors open right now. Oh, and it's just divine outside right now. I love the view outside of our house right now. Like this backyard is just my favorite freaking thing. Like this air, I wish you could feel it through the screen. We even have apples up here. Apples and figs, but obviously it's apple season. My milk is still steaming. That's the sound in the background. But with the change of the seasons, we get a lot more into our self-development girly era, which this has been me since I was born. Processing my emotions, analyzing them, journaling about things has been something I've done for fun since a young age. I have, back in Tennessee, where we were living last before we moved to Amsterdam, we have a small storage unit with some of our belongings. We sold most of our things, but we kept a small storage unit with some sentimental things, a couple pieces of furniture. I have a box filled with all of my journals since like middle school, and I used to journal so much more. Like I would thoroughly document like what was happening, how I'm feeling about it, like processing it. I started reading some of those last year when I was packing up for the move, and it was juicy. It was juicy. I wish I documented my life a little bit more through journals, but like I think once I got married, I would verbally process so much with Clayton that I wouldn't write as much. But this is kind of like my junk journal, so I do have some like pictures in here. I kind of used to use it a little bit more as like, this is like a letter to my future. Did I not? I didn't read this. Oh my God. Okay, when I started this journal, it was the day, I think it was like the day before Remy was born. Yeah, I started this journal the day before Remy was born. We went to this place and we did a photo booth, and it was like right around New Year's Eve. So I said, open this on New Year's Eve, 2024. Should we open the letter? Guys, I wrote this letter to myself right before giving birth to Remy, before I even knew that we were moving to Amsterdam. Holy, guys, I didn't know we were gonna do this together right now. Oh my God. This is so exciting. I'm so happy that we get to share this moment. I don't remember what it says, so I'm like, I got a fresh coffee, the windows are open, it's crisp, and I'm about to open up a letter from myself before I became a mom of 2 and moved to Amsterdam. Oh my God. Okay, y'all are gonna see me cry. Okay. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna reach. I'm just gonna read it out loud. I might have to edit out parts because I don't remember what I said. Hi, hun. You're about to give birth to your second and final baby. You're literally on the edge of everything changing alongside this new year. I hope this season brings peace, levity, and presence. I hope you find ease in the chaos and embrace being in the moment versus pursuing perfection. I'm so proud of how much you've already developed. It takes a lot to release control, and you've really done that in so many areas in life, from food and exercise to work and relationships. I hope you're surprised by divine invitations that confirm you can rest and trust the right moments will come. You'll know when you don't have to force it. Okay, so if you ever needed a reason to like get into journaling, let this be your reason, because it's really sweet to look back on these things and realize like how far you've come. Like even that note, that was before moving to Amsterdam, which was like a huge decision to do something that felt good instead of like, so it really was like a body choice versus like an intellectual, like what's gonna be the best for my career? What's gonna make me the most money? Like really making decisions from that body place has been such a big development in myself, especially as a Virgo. So Virgo season just ended, but a lot of that energy is around like analyzation, and it's really like, you know, you're gonna make a spreadsheet about things, you're gonna draw a diagram, and I love that part of myself because I do think a lot of what I have achieved in my life is because I've been someone who does that like for fun. Like it comes very naturally to me, but there comes a point where you have to like get away from the page and like actually just live your life and like feel in your nervous system. So good job, we're doing it. Okay, I want to get some practical tips though. If this does not come as naturally to you, let me just give you a peek into some of the journaling that I've been doing lately. I usually do this around my birthday because that for me, the energy feels more like a new year. New Year's Eve, I don't actually usually feel as much energy to do like an audit of my life, like resolutions or whatever. Usually that time of year, I just want to be like really cozy and take care of myself and kind of like be soft with myself. this time of year, like back to school energy just kind of feels like I have the momentum, plus it's my birthday. So you can kind of do this whenever you want. Okay, one of the main things I do every year, this came from a group of my friends. We would do birthday questions every year, and I found it really helpful to do annually just to kind of check on things. So the questions are, what is something that you want to leave behind from this year? What is something from this year that you learned and want to bring with you? And if you could describe with like one word what you want for this next year, what is that word? So I did that for this next year, and it was really helpful to kind of condense like, what was it about this year that I learned? And I'm like, yep, I'm good. Like, we can leave that lesson. I've passed that one. And what is something that you gained that you're like, I really want to keep this with me? And then the word for the next year, really going deep. Mine was core this year. It was kind of back to like that making decisions for my body, feeling like so locked into my authentic self that no outside people or thoughts or opinions or changes can really like sway me. And I'm really making decisions from this core. I use this term authentic self quite a bit, and I think it's very transformative. I've had some people send DMs on like, how do you even find like what your authentic self is or your authentic code? So I'm going to put a link into my bio because I think I actually have a referral code. To Be Magnetic is a course that you can sign up for where it's really hard to describe it because it is about manifesting, which that word feels a little misunderstood sometimes. I think sometimes we can confuse manifesting for something very woo-woo, but I really like To Be Magnetic because it really guides you through day by day these journal prompts and also audios that you listen to that like really subconsciously reprogram things, which I think both of those are really important. And it works you through day by day for a couple of weeks or months through a program that helps you really figure things out. So I did the Authenticity Challenge earlier this year. So you sign up for the app, you can start the challenge. It tells you exactly what to do each day, follow it, and it's going to get you to like dig deeper. But I like using both of like using your brain of like analyzing things with the journaling, but then also just dropping into your subconscious and letting those DIs, DIs are called these deep imagining. So this is like this meditation, hypnosis, it's all really backed by science. Like they've really studied how to get into the subconscious layers. That is key. It kind of goes back to like, I've done therapy, which is like talking therapy, and I've also done somatic therapy, and they're very different. I think both are important. Talking therapy is really good if you're just kind of starting and need to really learn how to articulate things. But somatic therapy has really changed things for me, especially this past year. It's where I literally go to therapy, I like lay on a table. We talk for a little bit, but then I'm closing my eyes and she's having me like feel different areas of my body. And my subconscious, my mind actually brings up pictures or images and scenarios, and we just kind of like work through it. It's a lot of like the family part system, which is this idea that we have lots of different parts of ourselves, and true health is learning to integrate all of them. So a lot of times there's like this version of yourself from when you were like 10 years old that you're like ashamed of and you kind of like internally separate yourself from them. But when you go into this like somatic place, you work with a therapist who is trained in family part system. You bring up that version of yourself. You hear what they have to say, and you hear it with this like this higher self is kind of hearing it, and it's this very like empathetic understanding, like I hear you, and it's like that tension and that like feeling kind of fades once you just like integrate it. It sounds kind of woo-woo, but honestly, that has been game-changing for me. I would say in general that my self-development journey, it started here just because I couldn't really afford therapy when I started. I remember I was an au pair in Turkey when I was 19. It's a whole nother story. And I brought a Tony Robbins book with me. And if you're in the self-development world, you know Tony Robbins. And it was just like a book. Maybe I got it from the library. I probably bought it used on Amazon. And he is like a self-development guy. I read that book. He would have workshop assignments, and I did that really intensely. And I think I then did Danielle Laporte. She has this thing called the Desire Map. I really liked that. That was a book that went through, you made like a list of things that you wanted, but then you worked backwards to be like, okay, do I actually want that thing? Or do I think that that thing is going to make me feel a certain way? What is that feeling? So instead of a list of things I wanted to achieve, it turned into a list of feelings that I wanted in my life. I think that's really helpful because I think a lot of things in life, we think it's gonna make us feel a certain way. It might not necessarily, and also there's probably a lot of other little things you can do right now to feel that way. Then I got my yoga certification. That was when I went to Mexico for like 10 days, and it was this incredible retreat, and it was really focused on more of the philosophy of yoga that really changed a lot of things in my mindset. So as you can see, like I think everyone's self-development journey just happens really organically, but I think it's being someone that's always looking for an opportunity to challenge yourself, to question and learn. I will also say, if you sign up for a course like To Be Magnetic or do a book like The Desire Map, it's really important to be able to take what's good from it. And if there's parts of it that you're like, oh, I don't know if I really agree with that, like, I don't know if that's for real, just let that go. Just like let it go and hang on to the parts that are helpful. I think a lot of times people get so stuck on like, well, do I believe this? Do I think this is 100% true? And I'm like, you don't need to like sign your life to it. This isn't a cult that you're signing up for. Just take the benefits from it. And I think blocking yourself from healing because you're like, well, I don't necessarily like subscribe to that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, try it. So because I did this To Be Magnetic workshop earlier this year, I have 4 words that really identify my authentic code. So for my self-reflection, I went back to those, and then I updated my manifestations, which is basically just a list of like, I have 4 major manifestations for this year, and then I have a couple of minor ones. So they tell you to throw in minor ones because it just helps, like when little things happen, it confirms to you like, oh yeah, like I am on the right path, like things do happen for me. So I updated those, which is really fun, highly recommend. I also made a list of energy givers versus energy takers. This is something I've been really focusing on because I feel like I have a lot of energy in life, but I notice different seasons or weeks where I just feel so drained. And I'm just taking an audit of being like, what genuinely gives me like energy? And what is the thing that like, I feel like a little bit restricted, like subconsciously, like I don't really want to do that thing. Or afterwards, I just feel like a little bit drained. Ooh, another really fun journal prompt that I did recently. Write the story of a day in your dream life 1 year from now. So I do recommend doing this after you make the list of manifestations. Then like just get as descriptive as possible. Writing that dream day, I think it's really nice to get into like the tactical details. So like my story started off like I woke up in my beautiful light-filled Amsterdam apartment. Like I felt the herringbone floors, the smooth herringbone floors on my feet. I walked to get a cup of coffee in a textured ceramic mug, like really describing like the details of like what you're seeing, what you're hearing. And I think this is like a really important part of manifesting things you want in your life, is really imagining it to be real. I feel like I could talk about this for so long. How long is this? I think I'm someone who really does believe in there being like this mystical energy to life, right? Like I do think there's so many things that just happen so serendipitously. If it's meant to be, it will be. Being in Amsterdam is one of those things where I'm just like, it felt so natural, and there's so many little things that happen that just confirmed like I'm supposed to be here. There's something like cosmic about it. And also so much work went in behind the scenes, and so I really hold both things. I think manifestation and dreaming and like all those things are really important and beautiful, but I also think you do have to back it up with like some of the hard work, which is oftentimes like real therapy, like really getting into your stuff. I think it's doing the consistent practice of like journaling, meditation, breathing, asking for feedback, questioning things. Like I think making a goal and slowly working towards it. One of those things has been financial for me. So my entire 20s, like a lot of times I was in jobs that I honestly did not love, and I had to find a way to love it. I had to find like, what is it about this job that can give me some sense of purpose? Sometimes it was just the people. Sometimes I was just like, you know what? When I go into that office every day, there are people that I can connect with and make their life better. Like I always created some way to make that job like doable for me, because I knew that I needed to create my own wealth, because I did not come from that. So if I wanted to achieve my dreams, I was like, babe, you're gonna have to make some money. You're going to have a career. That didn't just like happen. Like I didn't just like manifest someone like dropping enough money in my lap for me to move to Amsterdam. So I really want to speak to both things, because I think a lot of times we have to choose like one camp or the other. I make peace with polarity. I'm gonna say both. Work really hard, put your head down, make the list, and be like, all right, I need to make X amount of money. I need to work this hard. Like I literally had in my head, okay, if I joined this startup, like I was like, I want to be a director level making this amount of money before I can go freelance. To feel confident enough to go freelance, I need to make this amount of money for a year before I feel confident enough to take that business abroad. Like there were some definitely like tactical things that were really hard and involved me working nights and weekends because I had young kids. And like, I just want to emphasize that I think both things are really important, but I think actually getting things on paper for me really helps that process, and being super consistent about it over time actually like really heals and changes things in your mind. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. I feel like I was just yapping all over the place, but I was getting DMs asking for like specific guidance on how to do this, so I hope that that was helpful. Hi, so I did bike to go work, but I've been working lately from the Soho house and you're not allowed to film in there. So just pretend like I inserted this like really aesthetic shot of my laptop and a cute little like matcha latte in natural light, because that's what we just did for a couple hours. I'm working on a client project. So if you don't know, unfortunately, I'm not a full-time influencer yet. I make most of my money as a marketing consultant, usually for brands in New York or LA. Before moving to Amsterdam, I had a career working in startups in New York City. I worked my way up to director of brand before I went freelance. So now what I do is, like, I got this client in New York, I'll have like a 2 or 3 month project. I'll come in, I'll do like an audit, build a strategy, help the team learn how to implement the strategy, test and learn into it, and then let them run on their own. So I really enjoy that dynamic because, unless you'll say I'm never bored, she is never bored, because the projects like change all the time, right? And I love diving into like a project for a client. I feel like an investigative journalist. Let me go in there and just, you know, figure out some stuff. It's really fun. I enjoy it. But I have a strategy portion due for my client on Wednesday. So honestly, I think I still need to work on that for 2 more hours today, probably tonight. But the beauty of working freelance is I can work when I want. I have a bit of a headache. I really just need to get some like energy out. So I'm gonna go to the gym. We're gonna go to the gym. I'm freaking pumped. We're gonna listen to some good music. My phone's charging, so I just need to go in a few seconds to make sure I have enough battery to do that. And then Clayton will pick up the boys from school. We'll do dinner at the house, hang out with them, and then once they go to bed, maybe around like 7, I'll start working a little bit, because I don't really get to work much tomorrow because we don't have childcare. Well, Nico goes to 4 school in the morning, but I still have Remy, so it's like I'm with the kids like all day. So then I'll work again on Wednesday, but then that's the day that the strategy is due. So I will probably need to work tonight, but let's go to the gym first. Clayton's making dinner. Okay, since this vlog is about like journaling and self-development, I thought I would bring you along for Clayton and I's admin meeting. So we have like a family admin meeting every so often where we meet and we talk about like trips coming up, goals that we have, our own personal manifestations, things we want to do as a couple, things we want to do as a family. Clayton's been actually doing the manifestation course that I did earlier this year. So we're going to share what our goals are for the rest of the year and talk about plans. How great is it that we moved to Amsterdam? I will say though that actually like this move is because we do these meetings. Amsterdam was always on the list, and then like, and going freelance, like now that we're both freelance and that like on a Wednesday morning we have the flexibility to do this because our work is more like, how did we get here?